Coach, I know it's not always about the starting five, but what did you like about the first five you put out there the other night?
Yeah, they had a good pop to them. I mean, I would imagine most places across the country, when you get to open at home and it's their first game, that that should be the baseline for the guys that get to start and go through the starting lineups and all the pageantry that comes with that. And then to have the type of student crowd we had to energize yourself, like, I would have been extremely disappointed if we didn't start off with some energy to us.
We'll stay in the second row and go to the middle with John, and then we'll come down the front row with Paul and Benjamin.
What's up, Chris? I was just wondering about Cam. Like, has there been kind of like a development plan when it comes to like his offensive game? How do you want to see kind of that game kind of grow? Because we obviously know what he can do on defense, but what's his kind of offensive development kind of look like in the off season to now? What more do you want to see from him?
You know, he's committed to his individual improvement of his, as you put it, offensive game. Has bought into extra time more than ever since at least I've worked with him and going into our third season. He's spending hours in the gym, with managers, GAs, just working on his shot. I mean, that's probably the biggest improvement that he needs to make, is having the capabilities of making a open catch and shoot three, and then certainly knocking down his free throws. And we track all that stuff, and his free throws have been really, really good. I think we were all surprised when he missed the first two the other night, and he's been making some threes in practice, and I think hopefully his work will show up. I tell kids all the time that unfortunately in what we do and a lot of other industries, workplaces, etc., your work doesn't always show up on time. You've got to stick with it, and eventually it will get there. So hopefully that will be the case with Cam, as he'll be rewarded with the work that he's being put in.
I meant to ask you the other night after the game, obviously Eric Payman didn't get in the game and Myers wasn't dressed out, or I know things can change during the season with injuries and what have you, but is the plan to redshirt them this year?
It is. Right now, the plan is to redshirt both those young men. Certainly, like you said, things could change, but if we all had our druthers, that would be the case all year long.
You had both of the more of the true centers, Nwoko and Jeremy Famina, come off the bench. What did you think about their performances in the opener?
Just okay. You got a lump guy Chol in there as well. Yeah. We got the 3-5s that are sophomores, and neither of them started the first game. I can't imagine that our starting lineup won't fluctuate early in the season. I basically told our guys not to be surprised, before the first game, for us to, tinker with the starting lineup early in the season for a plethora of different reasons. So I think you'll see, some true fives, in the starting lineup here soon. But in terms of their overall performance, all the things that we're harping on them, for them to help our team be, the best version of itself, and they've got to focus on the things that people don't see every day, like just running the court and setting solid screens and understanding when to sit in, demand the ball, when to seal. Obviously rebounding is a big deal for this particular team. That's already been discovered. Between the two of them, in 26 minutes they had one defensive rebound, and that's just not going to be good enough. So, they're a work in progress, like we've been saying all year long, but I think they're going to get there. What's their mean? That means different for everybody. Most importantly, it's getting there what it means to me and our staff, rather than a fan or anyone else for that matter. So I do think that eventually, I don't know when, like I said earlier, the timing is what it is, but they're great kids, and they work, and they're coachable, and they want to do right, And when you have those kind of intangibles, it usually happens.
Back to Paul for 2.
Georgia State opened up with a pretty good win over Ball State. What have you seen from them so far?
It's going to be a step up in weight class for sure. They look very good in their opening home win against Ball State. We know Ball State, and they've got a good team, and they're well coached. So the things that they do best right now, anyway, are areas of concern for us. So I'm sure they're watching the tape thinking the same thing. Hey, we can exploit them on the glass. Our physicality, our size should give them problems if we can get it into the game. And it's not a secret, we're both honed in on each other's first game thus far, and that's what it says. So hopefully it'll be good for us in that we're playing a team like that, and we can show our guys if we're not better in these areas that we were weak at in the first game, it'll be a long night for the home team. So it's a perfect scenario, in my opinion, because of who we're playing, to see if we can get better in a short period of time. I'm not sure we're going to get better at it, but how much better, we'll find out Friday evening. But they're an older ball club like most teams are. They're feeling good about themselves, and they're very physical.
One
Hey,
second. This one's about to switch out.
Johnny on the spot.
I know it's a small sample size with Josh, but other night, and who knows how the season play out with his shots, but I don't know if there's ever such thing as a quiet 26 points, but I mean, he got that on 10 or 11 shots, and last year is more of a volume shooter, and I know that, like I said, a small sample size, but adding Claudel and other offensive weapons, is that kind of what you envision and hope for the game to come to Josh instead of having to put up 30 shots a game and to have better looks? Is that kind of, in a perfect world, the way you wanted it to play out?
In a perfect world, yes. He did it on 13 shots. And I know you're just talking, not in exact numbers, but, Josh wasn't I wouldn't call him a gunner last year. I don't remember him ever taking 30 shots in a game, but I understand what you're trying to talk about is that he was the number one option on the perimeter, and everybody knew it. And so because of that, he had to take some iffy shots at times. He had to search to go on a run at times. And we definitely wanted to take that pressure off him, and we wanted to just spread the court more and just have more options, at different positions alongside Josh. And even when Josh is not in the game, we didn't want our scoring on the perimeter to come to a halt. And he's been great about it. He wanted it. He was all about it. And it's something we talked about a lot this summer and fall, is shot selection with everybody, but even particularly with him, of getting out of that mindset of, this might be the best shot we're gonna get, even though it's a tough shot. And last year I was more than fine with it because that was our best chance at times. But he showed his growth mentally of understanding what's best for our team and that we have other options. And certainly when the shot clock is dwindling, that's another scenario. But in the meat of a possession, he doesn't have to take, a rushed one or a hotly contested one. And not saying that, he won't do that at different times, but hopefully that will be, we'll continue to do that for him and for all of us as these games keep coming.
Got time for a couple